Okay, so today we're going to throw a vase, and again you always want to start with round clay. If you put a big piece of lumpy clay that looks, you know, like a yucky thing, it's not going to work very well. So you want to make sure it's round and it's smooth and there are no holes in it. Okay? So I see people putting clay that looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something and they wonder why they can't center. Okay, so we lump it on and push it in. Okay, make sure the wheel's going the right direction. And let's go. Whoops, see, that's going the wrong direction because it's not. It's going the right direction. Okay, so we're going to a little water, push it down. Now I'm going to start with my left hand, make it steady. What was on sticking out is coming up. It's braced on my knee, so it's going pretty smoothly. And you can see what was out is now coming up. And I'm going to put my right hand and push in and down, and it's starting to come to center. Okay, then I'm going to go full speed, really lean into it, sideways and down, and hopefully it'll come to center. Okay, keep my wheel head a little bit clean, don't make my mess. On my neighbor, I'm going to cone it up, push with this hand, pull with this hand, locking my thumbs, and pull it up to center, but not off the top. I almost did. Push it back down, rounding my hand so it goes back into a rounded kind of half circle. Okay, very slowly take your hands off. Okay, so that's center. I want to make this dent, so I'm going to hold it like I like it. Push my thumbs in just a little bit, not very far. A little water in there. Now I'm going to use this to push down with. Make sure your fingers are bent, not like this. Hold it with this hand like your tool holder, little finger, big finger, and just push down. Okay. And then you're going to stop the wheel, check the depth. Should be about like that. No more than no less than half a pin toe. I'm pushing down with my thumb like this because I want it to be a little lower. I don't want to squish the wall up, I want to pull it. Okay, now I'm going to make a base. Not very big because I want to make a vase, and I don't want a very big base on the vase. Compress. Make sure you brace your left hand. I mean your right hand with your left, or your dominant hand with your undominant hand. Okay, don't make it too thin or too thick. Make it just right. Okay, so now I'm going to push it back down so I can pull it up. I want to start from this little donut shape, this little bagel shape, like that. Okay. So now I'm going to slow down and to make sure, some of you are pulling this way, but you want to get your hand vertical by moving your wrist. And it's fingertip to fingertip. I wrap my right finger around. I'm not using these fingers, I'm using these. I'm pulling straight up. Everything we make, we're going to make from a cylinder. Compress all the time. You can pull with your sponge. I like to do that. You can pull with your knuckle if you want, like this. Or you can pull with a rib too, whatever feels comfortable for you. Some people pull with a rib, like that. I like to pull with a sponge, but the idea is one point against another. There are a couple of things you should never do. One is like this, and the other is put your fingers on and then start the wheel. If you do that, you'll always knock it off center. Okay. Right now I've got a lot of clay here, not so much here, so I want to be able to grab that and pull it up. So I take my stick tool and dig a little bit of it out. And I'm going to pull up more so I get a cylinder. Taller. See, I'm pushing more on the outside now than the inside. I want it a little narrower. But that's going to control. Okay. Get some of the water out. Let's go a little sponge. And again, I want some of this clay to come up. So I'm just digging my finger in and pulling up. Okay. Now I'm going to start bending my top finger over the bottom finger, my outside finger, and that made it come in a little bit, okay? I'm going to choke. I'm going to slow down a little more, get it pretty wet on the outside, and take my fingers like this and just pinch them. There we go. You're going to start choking below where you think it really wants to choke. See, it's getting narrow. It always makes that triangle shape on the top. It's kind of weird. And then I just pinch it in like that. Okay, I'm going to do that a couple times. Now you notice I've slowed down. This is so much fun. Okay, now I'm going to take my hands like this, and the top outside hand, I think of it as the top, is going to go up above the outside hand and make it curve in more. It's hard if you're not on the left side. So my hands inside are like this. You see it? So they're not like this, they're like this. Does that make sense? Okay. So I still want to get some of this clay up and pull it from the bottom and make it curve in. So it's probably bigger than the one you're going to make. Okay, I don't want you to make really big ones if you have trouble. Do this a couple of times. You can also use the rib to shape it, both on the inside and out. I'll show you that. So you need a clean rib. Stick it on the inside, and you can make it go out. Just use it on the outside. You can use the flat edge or the curved edge and make it go in. A little bit off center, but I think we're okay. Okay? Now you're going to almost always have to trim the lip, because in this pulling process you're compressing the clay as you go up and narrowing it out, so whatever was fractionally off center here is going to be more off center there. Does that make sense? I've thrown my pin tool on the floor. Okay, so now I'm going to pin it, because that's where the off center part was. Okay, and then I'm going to compress it, and then I'm going to go like this again, thin it out, and then flip it back over. So this time I'm flipping over, my outside hand is flipping over my inside. Over my inside. Okay, like that, and compress. Now you can choke it more if you want. You can spend a lot of time making these whatever shape you want. Be careful that you're not like totally letting it go out of control. Okay? So now I've got 1, 2, 3 different circumferences. I've got some water in here I want to get out. Really important not to leave water in the bottom. It makes it gritty, and there's a possibility of cracking. Okay, so after you're pretty satisfied with this shape, if this wasn't a demo, I'd probably work on it a little more to lift that shoulder up and curl that out more. But I think that's okay. Then I'm going to take the stick tool. I want to cut a lot of this weight off the bottom. So I'm going to stab in pretty dramatically, because sometimes these are hard to foot. It's hard to turn them over, so I want to make it nice and smooth on the bottom. Okay, so I went in like a pencil right with that angle, and then I take the pin tool and I cut it. Whoops, that was weird. I cut it just like that. See, I lost all that. Now I don't have to foot that off. And then clean it up like this. And that looks better. The other thing is, before you put your pin now, make that extra little nick. I'm liking that technique. I just learned. And that way, even if you can't foot it, that's going to look pretty nice. Okay? All right? Yay!